I used to buy my lunch every single day when I went to uni or work, and it was so convenient, except the only problem was it was not very sustainable. Not for my health and not for my bank account. So I started prepping my lunch. I would make it in the morning or the night before, and before I knew it, lunch became my favorite part of the day. So today I'm making a highly requested video, and I will be showing you some low effort lunch ideas for students or anyone with limited cooking skills who wants to save some money but still have some delicious food. And so let's get cooking. A few disclaimers before we start cooking. 1, I am lazy in the kitchen. I don't like to spend too much time in here, so these recipes are going to be fast, easy, in and out. We're not going to spend longer than we need to preparing. Number 2, I am not a chef, and I have never claimed to be one. And I'm just going to make this clear right now. This is just inspiration. This is not exact recipes, okay? Because I don't even know how much of everything that I use myself. So these are just things I've come up with trial and error. Alter them to your own preferences. I'm not a chef. This is not a how to cook. This is just inspiration. Number 3, I am broke and I live with my parents. So I will be trying my best to keep these cheap, and if not, it will be using things that I just found around the house. I'm going to try maximize the use of each of the ingredients for multiple different dishes. Number 4, I am not a vegetarian, and I'm going to say this right here, right now, before we get started, because these recipes will include meats, specifically it will include fish and chicken. So if you're not into that, then I'm sorry, this video is not for you, and I don't want to hear in the comments about, what if I don't eat chicken? Well, don't watch this video, honey. It's not for you. Find another lovely vegan or vegetarian YouTuber. That's not me. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, we're starting off with the tuna melt, and this should take about 5 to 7 minutes, maybe even less. And we're going to start off by emptying your choice of tuna and mixing it up with some salt and some pepper. I always like the one that has a little bit of a kick to it, so I choose the chili one, but you can do the normal flavor or whatever you want. And then we're going to chop up some onion. Now, ignore my atrocious knife skills. I'm just going to speed it up so that you can't judge me for that. And once you've chopped up the onion, add in some corn as well, and then give it a good mix. You can also add in some cheese. Now, this is where the melt part of the tuna melt comes in. Now, I know some people don't like the idea of mixing fish and cheese. This is an acquired taste, so if you don't like it, don't have it. After that, you're going to add in some Kewpie mayo and just mix. Now, you can kind of decide the consistency that you want for this. And so once you're happy with it, you can get your wrap. Here I'm using a green spinach and herb one just because, that's what we had at home. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what you use. Anyway, so I'm gonna make one big wrap, and so I poured in all of it to make into a single wrap. If you wanted to, you can divvy this up into 2 or 3 smaller wraps. Obviously, adjust the amounts as required. And then finally, I just add in some barbecue sauce. That's just a preferred thing for me. You don't have to do that. But of course, experiment and see what you like. And then once you've rolled it up, you can put it into the flat top toaster. If you don't have one of these, you can also make it on a pan. And it should be ready in 2-ish minutes. And so there you have it. Beautiful tuna melt. Okay, next up, we're going to make an egg sandwich. And it's actually quite funny to me that this is one of my go-tos because I used to really dislike them. But after I came back from Japan, I was craving this all the time. Now, we're going to start off by boiling some eggs. If you don't know how to do this, please look it up. And then we're going to chop up some onion and some cucumber. And so once that's all done, your eggs should be just about ready. So you can mix it in with some salt and pepper and the Kewpie mayo. And I like to keep mine a little bit runny, but if you prefer yours more hard-boiled, obviously let your eggs cook for a little bit longer. So after that, all that's left is to put it onto your bread, and I've just got plain white bread here. I would love to have the fluffy Sando bread that they use in Japan, but that was just not at home at the moment, but I might actually try get those for next time. But either way, this tastes really good, and it's so easy to make. In under 10 minutes, you've got an egg sandwich ready to go for lunch. Okay, sticking to the Japan theme, next up we're going to make some rice balls. Make sure to use the short grain sushi rice, and make sure you wash your rice, okay? Don't be dirty. And after you've washed it thoroughly, put in a little bit of rice wine vinegar, and then let it cook. Now, I have a rice cooker because it's an Asian household, but if you don't, you can also make rice on a pot. And while that is cooking,
we can get your canned tuna again and mix it in with some salt and pepper and some Kewpie mayo. If you can't tell, I just love this stuff. Once that's all in, you can mix it all up and just keep mixing and tasting until it has reached the consistency that you like. And I know I'm not giving you any exact measurements for any of this, but it's because I kind of change it up depending on my mood for that day. And so the more you experiment and try make these things, you'll find something that works for you. Okay, so my rice cooker cooks in 7 minutes, so the rice is ready and we want to transfer it into a bowl. Then put in some rice seasoning. Now this is optional, I just really like how it enhances the flavour. And then all that's left is to mix. Now if you're using your hands, make sure your hands are wet with cold water so that the rice doesn't stick to your hands. And if it's too hard to do that, you can just use a spoon and mix it all up. And now we're ready to assemble our rice balls. Now you can do this by hand, but I got these 2 onigiri molds from Daiso. It was like $3 and it makes your life so much easier. So you just put in some rice, then a little bit of tuna, and then put another layer of rice in, and then you can press it down, and then there's a little tab at the back where you can push it and it pushes the rice ball out. Now you can see that this was my first attempt and it kind of flopped, and I also made the seaweed way too long. But that's okay, we're just going to use that as a taste tester. And the more you do it, the better you get. As you can see, I am improving ever so slightly each time. After a while, you kind of get the hang of it and it becomes a little bit therapeutic to do. Now, if you don't have the rice ball mold, what you can do is you can mix in the tuna into your rice and then you can manually make these rice balls. Now, when you do this, make sure you have cold water on your hands so that the rice doesn't stick to your hands. And so you can just roll them up like I'm doing here, and you can make as many rice balls as you want. Now, this is just a tuna rice ball recipe, but you can definitely experiment with as many fillings as you want. But anyways, these are easy and super yummy. Okay, so the next dish does take a little bit longer to prepare just because we're making chicken and we want to do it right. But I'll show you how we can use the exact same ingredients to make 2 different types of meals. And so we'll start off by seasoning our chicken. I'm using just salt, pepper, some chili flakes, and then barbecue sauce. And after that's marinated, you can transfer it onto the pan and cook it. Now, you don't need to use oil if you have a non-stick pan because chicken does have fat that will dissolve and naturally produce oil. But if you're a little bit paranoid, you can add a little bit of oil into the pan. Now while that's cooking, we can chop up our veggies. I am just going to get some cucumber and some carrot and some capsicum. Now this is just veggies that I have in the fridge. If you have a different combination, don't worry too much about it. As long as you enjoy what you're eating, that is all that matters. So we're just going to chop away while the chicken is cooking. And if you couldn't tell, my knife skills have improved ever so slightly. I really admire people who have excellent knife skills, and it is so satisfying to watch. And I want to be like that one day. It's just today is not the day. But that's okay because all we need is to get the job done, and that is exactly what I am doing. And now after all these veggies are chopped up, you can also get your corn and kidney beans. This is all optional, but I like to put it in because it helps create a more balanced meal. And then your chicken should be ready to go. So the first meal we're going to make is a wrap. And, you know, it's pretty standard, straightforward. You can even call it a burrito if you want. I don't know the difference between the two. And so you just put in however much you feel like, arrange it however you like. And then you can put in whatever sauces you want. Now I'm just using sweet chili and mayo, but you can experiment and figure out what you like. Now, this is going to be the running theme of the video, is just find out what you like and do what you want. And so there you have it, our burrito looking very full and very yummy. Next, we're going to use the same ingredients, but instead of making a wrap or a burrito, we're going to make a bowl. Now, this is really good if you've run out of tortillas to use, but you still want a nutritious and yummy meal. It's also good if you don't want to make lunch every single day. What you can do is you can chop up these veggies and make the chicken and just have all the ingredients ready to go, and all you have to do is plate it up the night before. So I really like having this as an option as well. So this burrito bowl is really good for on the go. Okay, next we're moving into the snacks portion of the video. So put in some rolled oats and your choice of protein powder. I'm just using a chocolate one. And then you can also put in some shredded coconut and then give it a good mix. After that, we're going to soak some dates in water and then blend it up. Now, the dates are going to serve as the glue for our protein balls, as well as be a natural source of sugar. So these are really sweet. Now, if you don't have a food processor or a blender, I just use a NutriBullet, but the other alternative is a nut butter. Now, I know you're going to hate me because there are no set amounts for each of these ingredients. I kind of eyeball it and I make more of the date mix until it reaches this kind of consistency. And if it looks too runny, it just means that you need to add a little bit more oats. Okay, so once the mixture is ready, you can just pour out some of the coconut and then start rolling the mixture into a ball. Now, make sure your hands are clean and again, use the cold water technique because it stops the dough from sticking to your hand, and you can make as many as you want. Now, this recipe is definitely customizable. If you want to, you can try different flavors like peanut butter, you can add in nuts. It is really up to you. It's one of my go-tos and it's perfect for when you're craving a sweet treat. Okay, the last snack that we're gonna make is going to be homemade veggie fries. And so today I'm just going to use capsicum and carrot. You can use whatever you want. Now, the general consensus is that the less water the vegetable has, the better it will be as a fry. But anyway, after you've decided what vegetables you want to use, all you have to do is chop it up into thin strips like I'm doing so here. And you can make as much or as little as you want. I just wanted a very small snack, but you can always chop up a lot more and just keep it ready to go for you to just chuck into the fryer whenever you please. So after it's all chopped up, we're going to add in some corn flour and some oil, and then some salt and pepper, and I also like to add in a little bit of chili flakes for a little bit of a kick. And then you just have to toss the bowl and mix it all up and make sure everything is fully coated. Now, if you want it to be more crispy, you just have to add in some more corn flour. But once it's reached the texture that you like, you can arrange it into your air fryer and set it for about 12 to 15 minutes, more or less, depending on what kind of texture you want. Now, if you don't have an air fryer, you will have to use the conventional method of frying, but if you do have the air fryer, then it is so easy and so convenient because you don't have to stand over it and continuously check on it. It just cooks for you. And before you know it, you've got some delicious crispy fries ready to go.
There you have it. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that some of this gave you some ideas or inspiration. Now, if this was way too easy for you and you want a challenge, you're over the beginner level lunch ideas, do comment down below. I can always make another video with some more creative ideas for lunch for those of you who want to level up your cooking. Otherwise, comment down below what you love to take for lunch, or if you try out any of these lunch ideas, and I will see you next time.